Okay, this is going to be the Itnamzand walkthrough, explanation, behind the scenes, super awesome fun time video. I'm gonna run through Itnamzand, and explain my thought processes behind it, little Easter eggs in it. I also plan in a future update to make it so that it actually appears on the horizon like a normal thing instead of disappearing like that, because it's fairly big. So yeah, so my suggestion, oh, I need to eat. Suggestion from me is to find Bristleback Cave. It's north of Waterstone, it's north of Bloodskull Barrow, north of Raven Rock. Just go north from Raven Rock until you get to North Shore Landing. And Itnamzand will appear on your compass before it appears on the horizon, but I want to make it appear on the horizon because it's pretty awesome. Hi Horkers, don't bother me, please don't bother me. I don't want to have to kill you, you're gonna have to die now. Okay. North Shore Landing. So, might as well go to North Shore Landing first, and not yet go to Itnamzand, because there's something over here. There are journals in Itnamzand, Arafal's journals, and it's a begrudging, annoyed Dunmer who is going through Itnamzand with a party. And I'll show you where you can find all the books that explain his thought process. I just put it in there for fun. That's a good place for something. Ooh, ebony. Anyway, so that's where you can find the first journal from Arafal. Now, it may be... Ooh, fish. That actually helps a lot. That'll keep me from starving to death. So you'll look at this. This is Itnamzand. It has some references to the Tower of the Gods. It doesn't appear on the overview map, but it does appear on the local map, which is nice. You may notice that it has 3 towers. There's 2 there, and on the other side, you can't really see it very well. Look over here. Excuse me, Burger. Over there, there's the 3rd tower, and the reason for that is it's the 3rd major dungeon. That's easy. And I sort of unintentionally did it this way. Kina Langdonzel is 1 tower, and Morwidajal has that arch, so it's sort of it has 2 sides, it has 2 landings, so it's sort of fuzzy, but Morwidajal is number 2, and this is number 3. It has 3 things. Probably a good idea to have some water breathing potions. I don't know if I have any. Water walking. That's nice. Getting into Itnamzand is not as easy as you might think. There's water spewing everywhere, but there's no obvious entrance. There's that thing, and I suppose if you had a really good... I don't know how the range of telekinesis, but you could conceivably pull down the lever way up there and extend that. But that's not really the way you get in. The way you get in is right here. So you're facing Itnamzand, and there's this curved bridge that comes up. And to the left of that is the entrance. And it's underwater. Originally, when I first made Kina Langdonzell, I wanted the whole thing to be underwater until a certain point. So I had the entrance underwater. But that didn't work, so I changed it. And this is sort of calling back to that and making it actually work. You can also see that Itnamzand extends pretty far. It's very deep. It goes all the way down like that. I'm going to enter before I drown. That's the only real thing that you can see underwater. Okay, so this is Itnamzand Siphon. It's an oblique reference to Great Bay Temple. And you notice there's just the sound of roaring water. And underwater, there is these siphons, these pistons, and these gears. And you can actually sit on the gears if you swim low enough, and they carry you around. So I like how this turned out. This is follower enabled, so the followers, if they had brains, they would be following me. But yeah, at first this looks kind of whoa, look at that, holy, whoa, what? But lots of pipes. Eventually you'll see this tilted pipe, which connects down here, and you can climb on that. And then you can jump around. You can keep going. And I was very careful to make everything clear so that you could actually make it up here. That's not normal. Oh, hey, Jazargo, don't knock me off, buddy. And there's this upper part here. There's this glinty glint that sort of shows you where Aerofall's journal is. Aerofall's journal is very hard to find. They're all difficult to find. But they're not terribly important for finishing the dungeon. There's no real bonus to finding them. They're just sort of bits of lore for the lost party that went through Itnamzand before. The last time it rose from the sea, or it rose from the sea just now. And they went in and died. Spoilers. Oh, hello.
Who's there?
Hello, Chilphos. The Chilphos are sort of unique to Itnamzand. They debuted with Morwittajal, but they're very common. They're very common in Itnamzand. They're very loud. There's also some Tektites up here that the Chilphos killed. There they are, yeah, there's one. So, Tektites are another thing that are going to be very common. And they carry some very useful things. I'll make a Tektite video. I'll make a Tektite video covering their stuff. You may see Chilphos rise from the dead, like just resurrect themselves. That's just because I have Truly Undead installed. They are treated as skeletons by the game, so they'll resurrect once in a while. Okay, I'm gonna extend this. And this is just a ramp to help you get back to Itnamzand pretty quickly. Okay, so this tower is completely inaccessible to start with. So you have to go up one of these two towers. It doesn't matter which one you go up. And I was actually impressed that I managed to get this to work. They barely scrape by each other. And I'm glad that actually worked. I had to move the paths of the birds that are flying around because they... ran into Itnamzand originally. Right. So over here is... That's just a chest with stuff in it. Ooh, Stalrim mace. Oh yeah, the Chilphos drop Stalrim. They carry Stalrim, they have Stalrim weapons, so they're a good source of Stalrim. Valve, turn it, and now you can enter Itnamzand proper. I really like the sound these valves make. Anyway. So that's Itnamzand, the outer part of Itnamzand. Now it's time for the dungeon. And the dungeon is pretty awesome. Right. So you enter Itnamzand. It's follower enabled, obviously. Everybody follow me. That's another thing I need to... This kind of bothers me. This happened with Kina Langdon's L2. For some reason, it doesn't put a cap on these things. It just goes up into the void, which is really annoying. You have to manually put a cap on them, so I'll have to put a cap on that one. Anyway, it's completely dry. It's very well lit, which is very direct contrast to Kina Langdon's L and Morwittajal, which were not well lit. But this one is very well lit, and it has some glitches going on, but they're not that noticeable. Whatever. So hungry. Okay. First room, Tektite Swarm. Depending on your weapon, these guys might not be that difficult. On low levels, they could be difficult because they're just swarming you. And these are random, so you have a chance of finding some pretty good ones. Normal Tektites, they carry random jelly. Red Tektites carry random stuff. Red jelly, which I'll keep. Red Tektite jelly is useful, so I'm going to gather that up. Green. Oh, it has both. That's cool. Green Tektites have a chance of carrying this rare green Tektite jelly, which is a reference to the old... there's two different types of green Tektite jelly. There's the one that restores stamina and the one that restores magicka, which is a reference to the games, the Zelda games. And blue Tektites also have a chance of carrying something rare. Looks like green Tektites always carry it. I need to fix that. Yeah, this is like a pretty much full-fledged dwarven ruin, and it's very clean. It's not as busted up as most dwarven ruins are. Well, it's not that busted up yet. Second room. Oh, hey. Chilpo. And this is another enemy, the Stall, which are essentially bubbles. There are also war stalls like this one, and war stalls carry weapons. And stalls drop Stalfos bone meal and frost salts or fire salts, depending on which kind you encounter. Stalfos bone meal is useful. I wonder if this war stall will resurrect. Oh, yep, here he goes. And we can see him fight. Yeah, they're pretty weak. They go down with one hit. So that's the second room. There's not much to it. I'm going to pull that lever. There's some chests here, which they carry some pretty useful stuff. Ooh, bone mold shield.
Who's there?
Okay, guys, stop fighting. That's room 2. Yeah, this door can only be pulled open by that lever. Oh wait, no. I guess this door can just be opened. That lever is pointless, I guess. So that's actually the last of the upper dungeon. This is a new enemy, and it took me a while to actually get him to work. At first you might think he's a gargoyle, but then you notice that his feet seem to be on fire. So let me introduce you to... Okay, this is a Gemos. Specifically a fire Gemos. And the Gemos are reference to Link Between Worlds. In Link Between Worlds there are these statues called Gemos. Oh, you can't loot them because it came from that thing. That's a weird glitch. Whenever there's an ambush, you can't loot them. Whatever. But Gemos, in Link Between Worlds, they're statues and you push them around like Armos and they bounce around. But these guys break out of their statues and attack you. Like gargoyles, because I just love gargoyles, but they don't really appear that much in Dawnguard, so I put a bunch of Gemos in here. And it took me a while to actually get them to work properly. For the longest time they were just like, they were out of their statues and it didn't work, and it was really frustrating, but I finally got them to work. Interesting. Lamp there. This is another thing. Originally, Itnamzand, the upper dungeon of Itnamzand was shaped differently. It was longer, and it just didn't work. So I changed it into this. I changed this room into this little spiral staircase. And I have these lamps embedded in the walls. And I like it when this happens, when I try to do something at first and it doesn't work, and I have to do something else and it turns out to be a lot cooler. Oh, hello. Alright, well, well, he works. And here's one of the first team member from the Lost Party, Pandora. And she has a journal next to her, where he's talking about stuff. There's not much else to this room, except now you have to choose which lever you pull. Except that you can just open the door. So my attempt at... Okay, whoa, Dark Knight. Okay, my attempt at having a puzzle failed miserably. Okay, now back to the Dark Knight. Greater Darknut. He's... Man, this is loud. Okay. You may have noticed that the Greater Darknut was, wielding a two-handed version of the Darknut sword. It's not in his inventory for some reason. Did it get disarmed? Well, anyway, he has standard Darknut stuff. For some reason he has the boss keys. I need to fix that. Ugh. Bothers me when I find a bug like that. Bugs are just part of life, but it doesn't make them any less annoying. Piece of Heart, standard Greater Darknut, but he had a special two-handed version of his Darknut sword. Sometimes, Itnamzand adds new types of Darknuts. There are Darknuts that dual wield Darknut swords. There's Darknuts that use two-handed swords. Once in a while you'll find a Darknut who doesn't have a shield. That sort of thing. That was the Greater Darknut. Now, to be fair, I'm plowing through this fairly quickly because this character is very strong. She has the True Master Sword, improved to Legendary status, so it has a damage of 159. She has a very good one-handed skill. So this is basically just sort of a quick walkthrough. Itnamzand is hard. It is not an easy dungeon. Man, everybody uses lightning. Oh wow, that's interesting. Okay. I don't know if you noticed because I was kind of going through it quickly, but there's a lever down there, and that lever activates that. And that's something I actually did right in this dungeon. Here's another little Easter egg, or well, not really Easter egg, but a little bonus item. Of course, you know. Here's another type of Gemos. He's a wind Gemos. Extra Skyloft wooden shield. I mean Skyloft iron shield. There's some junk in there. Goron tunics and Goron hat. So that's excellent.
Who's there?
Okay. Itnamzand is very chaotic. The Wind Gemos and Fire Gemos, the difference between them is the Wind Gemos On their power attacks, they can launch you like Unrelenting Force or a werewolf. The Fire Demos deal fire damage with their strikes. So that's the difference. Ooh.
Hey, watch it.
Up here, there's this broken Dwarven Spear. And normally these Dwarven Spears only activate when you come by, but it's really chaotic, so they come out anyway. So that's the upper dungeon of Itnamzand. That's the complete upper dungeon. Now things get weird. And this is the part that I am proud of with Itnamzand. Itnamzand Deep. So you enter Itnamzand Deep, and right away things don't look right. The upper dungeon was perfectly fine, but now everything is rocky, and it looks like it's a dead end. It's actually not a dead end. You may notice there's some light coming down from there. Yeah, it's a pretty deep fall. These guys can't follow me down here. I would have loved to make it possible for followers to follow you. Oh wait, no, Serana's gonna follow me. The only way you can make them follow you is if you shove them down there. So Serana will be with me down there, obviously, because I'm gonna... Here we go! And when you fall down this, you have to keep toward the floor, or else you'll hit something and die. Hopefully Serana's following me. Hopefully she doesn't, like, hit herself. But yeah, so basically we just fell down a sideways hallway. I'll use TFC to show you. I built like a full hallway here with everything in it. There's rooms by it, there's broken up things, and there's things falling all over. It's pretty much a full complete room, dungeon hall thing. Okay, my game did my game oh jeez, my game froze and it was kind of like, it wasn't working. Anyway, so yeah, there's some rooms, there's some hallways. If you manage to look around, if you want to look around, it is pretty much full. You can't really access them unless you use some sort of way to negate fall damage somehow. Probably become ethereal might do it, but yeah, it's pretty much full dungeon up here. There's not much to be had. There's some loot in the spheres, but other than that, there's no real point to come down, to go there. Underwater, it's very dark, so you can't really see anything. Something is glitching out. Every so often there's a rumble, which is nice. There is stuff hidden in here. Let's see if I can find something. One thing seems to be this annoying noise. There's some Dwemer metal down here. There's a broken dwarven sphere. And there is a corpse, which I think is making that noise. Oh no, it's the broken dwarven sphere. Sounds like some like music is gonna break out. Also, there's this guy, this orc corpse here. He just has some junk. So he's one of the other members of the party. Over here, some tech types. And here's another one of Aerofal's journals, right next to the chandelier, which is eerily still on. And this is when he's really starting to get into the cool stuff. And I quote Navi here, and then again, I quote Ray Bradbury, "There will come soft rains." So that's pretty cool. Take. And over here, yeah, obviously there's this big obvious thing. There is a big secret right here. These columns, you can climb up these columns, and there's a chest over here, but that's not what's cool. It gets better. You can come up over here and climb on the side here, or you can go up this way and climb across here, go up this pipe, and there's one more corpse, I think. There should be. I don't know where she went. She might have fallen off, or I don't know where she goes. Like, there's supposed to be another corpse up here, but she's not here all the time. There's a Dwarven Centurion here that you can loot. And the biggest thing is there's that staircase over there. If you have Whirlwind Sprint, I've only tried it with a full Whirlwind Sprint, a fully fully learned Whirlwind Sprint. You can actually Whirlwind Sprint to that staircase. Of course, but there's the Gemos. For some reason the Gemos try to run away from you, and I don't really like that. Anyway, there's that. And then from there you can jump down here to this open gate, and there are these two chests. This chest has some stuff in it, but this chest is the one you want. And this chest has the magic sword and a moon shard. Moon shards are important. Keep the moon shard. But this has the magic sword. And this is modeled after the Soul Calibur 2 sword. But if you look up the magic sword on the Zelda wiki, there's art from Legend of Zelda, and the magic sword looks very much like this. The magic sword was donated to the mod, and I did the texture myself, but the mesh was donated, and it turned out very well. I'll use it in the rest of the dungeon to show you what it does. Yeah. Look, fire Demos. So once you're done with that, once you got the magic sword, you can sort of jump down here. There's some jump that you can get. Are you dead yet, Demos? Looks like it. Anyway. So the magic sword, what it does is that it says in the description it deals extra damage with each strike. That's sort of true, but what it does... Good morning. There's that was the flaming stall, by the way. They're different from other stalls in that they explode when they're dead. Oh, there's so much to Itnamzand that it's easy to get distracted. Okay, so this was sideways. This is actually a sideways staircase. I encourage you to, when you play through Itnamzand, to just look around, because this is a sort of a walkthrough, behind the scenes sort of thing. It's not meant to be a full enjoyment of the richness of this dungeon. So this is sideways, and then there's this part that's all crookedy and really weird, and this is actually a small hallway, and this is a column here, and then here is an upside down door, and the rest of the dungeon is upside down. And I'm really happy with this. This is really great. There's some chests over here. Just ruined beyond belief. So all of the junk and ruins in this part of the dungeon make up for the cleanliness of the upper dungeon. There's some more stuff over here to fight, like this guy. So the magic sword adds weakness to magic, for one thing. On each strike it makes the opponent weak to magic by 30%. And then it also has a unique enchantment, very unique enchantment, where it damages their armor skill. It doesn't do it by much, and it's sort of hard to tell, and I don't even know if it works, but flaming stalls are a little annoying if you have truly undead active. This guy had a Darknut sword. He was only wielding the Darknut sword. Come on, disintegrate, damn you. There you go. So yeah, the magic sword, I'll make a video on it that focuses just on it. But the magic sword is pretty cool. Very unique. It's one of two magic swords that I'm going to add to the mod. The other one is the white magical sword from Zelda 2. But this one came first. I really like how it looks. Okay. I really like the upside down dungeon. That's just great. I'm so happy with this. There's a little... This is the way out, but there's a little something else over here. If you go over here, climb up everything. This ruin's just falling apart. There's the Goron Mall. You can get a Goron Mall here, and this is new to Itnamzand. It was added with the Itnamzand update. The Goron Mall is basically the same as, it's a standard Goron weapon. It does fire damage and all that. It's surprisingly quick. Maybe it's because I have the silver gauntlets, but yeah, it's a mall. That's pretty cool. I might have to modify it because I think it's supposed to go slower. Okay, so that's that. Question, do you notice anything interesting about the shape of this part of the dungeon? I'll explain later, but it may look familiar to you. Oh, you can actually get back here. There's nothing back here. I should probably put something back here so people are rewarded for going past the rubble. The shape may look familiar. I'll talk about it when I get through the rest of the dungeon. Why is this water green? Huh. The water just suddenly changed color. It's supposed to be green like this. It's like volcanic, acidic water, but for some reason it wasn't for a long time. I don't know. Okay, part 2 of Itnamzand Deep. Still upside down, but now it's even worse. There's just ruined chandeliers everywhere. There's a dead wind Demos. There's a Stalfos over there. There's a staircase, upside down staircase. I really like this. This is great. I think there was, oh yeah, this is another interesting thing. There's some broken up guardians and things. There's supposed to be ones that come out. You can actually... Oh, actually, there's one up there. What you doing up there, buddy? Oh ho! Haha! Hey, it worked. Dwarven sphere came out and fell to his death. Yeah. So those still work somehow. There's just so much to this dungeon. It's so awesome. Broken pipes. It's just great. Anyway. So that's one little Easter egg thing. Now this part is pretty wild. This is a twisted hallway. So I will now explain, and then it comes back here, and it's right side up. Okay, before I move on, let me explain. So first of all, this area here is shaped like the first dungeon of The Legend of Zelda, Eagle. It's just upside down, because for some reason. This part doesn't really have a shape, it's just all messed up. And the reason why, the reason why Itnamzand is all twisted and upside down like this is because I was like, I wanted to make an upside down Dwemer dungeon because I think that's just such a cool idea. So I went ahead and made it sideways and then upside down. It's like it got folded by some geological event. And also, it's sort of a response to Kagranzel, because Kagranzel, you fall down this huge pit, and I always like the idea of things falling, maybe because I like Alice in Wonderland so much, but you fall down this pit, but it's not a full-fledged Dwemer dungeon, it's just a cave. So I wanted to make something like Kagranzel that opens into an actual full Dwemer dungeon. So that's that. Not much else to say about that, no. There's another journal around here, I think. There's supposed to be, but there's some glitches that I need to fix. The final journal is supposed to be around here, but for some reason it keeps disappearing. There's also supposed to be another corpse, but it's just not working. So I'll fix it for a future update. Hey Demos, how it going? Oh hey, Frost Demos. Oh, and a Hylian shoulder. Oh dear. Oh, there he is. What the heck? That's weird. Why does he have a blank tome? And where's his journal? Oh well. That is weird. It's like he's... It's like his personal gravity is messed up. Whoa, what the... Okay, something's wrong with him. I don't know what is... He does that in Creation Kit too, and I don't know why. Anyway, this place is loaded with stuff. That's not normal. You're not supposed to see that guy yet. So I'll just close that door. There's some glitches I need to fix in this dungeon, apparently. Okay, so over here, there's a Dwarven Quarterstaff. There's an extra copy of the Lost Devices of the Midden. There's a Moon Shard. There's enchanted stuff. There's a gray gem that you can make into dark or light essence. There's a tarnished shard, which the purpose of those is going to come soon. There's a enchanter. There's a thing. Get out of my face. There, you did. Oh, dang it, I can't search it. That's annoying. Over here, there's an alchemy station. There's Spellstone of Command Daedra. There's Sand of Hours, which is going to be very important. There's some gold dust, dwarven oil, spawn ash, all sorts of junk. And 2 chests with awesome stuff in them. Potion to cure disease, always good. I should take that Sand of Hours. And that gold dust, and that spawn ash. I have Wolfos. There's just... This is just a ridiculous place. Ooh, Daedric Warrack of Storms. That is neat. Yoink. Okay. So now that I'm done with that, here's the final boss of Itnamzand. Unfortunately spoiled by those stupid demos. This is the Ancient Automaton. The name is reference to Koloktos from Skyward Sword. And it's a giant dwarven ballista, obviously. And it shoots exploding bolts. And it's pretty tough, even if you're like super awesome at everything like me. Something else that makes it tough is it has a little friend. Another dwarven ballista, but a small dwarven ballista that's just kind of a nuisance. The texture, I custom made the texture for the Ancient Automaton, and it's all tarnished and gross. There's the Sanctum Key and the Tornado Rod, so this is where you get the Tornado Rod. And then it has 2 spell tomes, Summon Darknut and Summon Gemos. Take this. And also Wolfos Thrall, which you can only get from it. Or from Wolfos once in a great while. And then there is Sudine, the leader of the party. She's dead. And it's revealed that she is actually a she. There is supposed to be a 5th journal, but it got lost, so I will show it to you. And it's actually... I will fix it so you can actually find it more easily. It's just Sudine sort of giving an epitaph to Aerofall. And sort of her last decision, because they all got lost in Itnamzand. I don't want to spoil the story, but you can read those journals yourself. I will fix the 5th journal. It's supposed to be... I'll probably put it on her corpse. She has a lot of daggers. This video has been sort of very quick and very chaotic, but Itnamzand is chaotic. Its name, Itnamzand, is a anagram. I won't tell you what it's an anagram of. I made that video already of what it's an anagram of. It is inspired by Twilight Princess. That may give away what the name is, but the theme is sort of like Twilight Princess. Morwitterzal had Majora's Mask in it, and it was very Majora's Mask themed. Kino Langdonzel had the Ocarina of Time and was sort of referenced Ocarina of Time. It wasn't as blatant, but Itnamzand is a little more. It's sort of more like Kino Langdonzel and how it's sort of inspired by Twilight Princess, and it sort of references some things with Twilight Princess. That's just sort of theme. And I did that order is sort of deliberate because I sort of refer to Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess as the Triforce of bittersweet, or I forget what I call it, but all three are sort of tragically beautiful in their own way, and so I based these three dungeons, I sort of was inspired by them. The whole, using gargoyles in this one makes sense because it's sort of like gargoyles, vampires, and the night, and all of that. And you know what sucks? I was about to mention vampires and evening time and twilight, but then I realized, god damn it! That stupid book series ruined vampires and the awesomeness of Dusk and Dawn. Because it's like, no, that fits so perfectly for vampires, but no, it's a stupid, like, Mary Sue bullshit story that completely ruined the word. Anyway. Oh yeah, on the edges here, Gemos Thrall, that's a good spell tome, and then over here, I think, maybe it got knocked around, but look at the edges here, because you can pick up some other spell tomes, just like in Kino Langdonzel. Oh, that's another thing, this one was shock. It fired shock bolts at you. And then Kino Langdonzel, the Silver Centurion, used frost, and then in Morwitterzal, Majora's Priest didn't really use fire that much, but it had the fire rod, so yeah, fire, shock, and not shock, fire, shock, and frost. That's what it is. Okay, that's that. Here's some dwarven scrap metal for you. That is Itnamzand, and here is what you get for completing it. This may look familiar to you. This is the Wind Waker Master Sword, but of course I couldn't call that because I already have a Master Sword, so I called it the Noble Sword. And it's a reference to Oracle of Ages in that sense, but it does follow the Wind Waker Master Sword. Its wings are folded. This is based on Chiefo 1's mesh, and I had somebody fold up the wings like that. And it follows the progression. I'll make a Noble Sword video, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's sort of chunky, but it's sort of like a Bowie knife, actually. Yeah, it's the Wind Waker Master Sword. Of course it's chunky. It's like a machete. Legendary machete. You can improve it, and in a few different ways. You can turn it into the tempered sword and then the golden sword, or you can awaken it and then temper it further into the true noble sword. And there's two different true noble swords, so it's sort of like it has this branching evolution, which is great. And I was gonna do that for a long time. I was originally going to make the forgotten sword turn into the noble sword and all that, but I decided to just split them up. And I'll explain more about that later. Then there's that. That is a video in itself. If you remember Kina Langdon's if you remember the Song of Time video, then you know what this is. And you may notice that it's a little different. Instead of being a door, it's a lift. And there's some crystals. This will be interesting. I'll make a video on that soon. So that's Itnamzand. Once you get through it, you can leave. I apologize if this video was confusing or chaotic. It was really more of a... it's hard to explain it. It was sort of a walkthrough, but not really. It's sort of more, here's Itnamzand, here's everything in it, sort of summary of the dungeon. And if you use it as a walkthrough, great. But it's really more of a, here's what Itnamzand is all about, sort of thing. Do I still have Whirlwind Sprint on? I do. So yeah, there might be some hints in this video that help. There is a gossip stone in the dungeon. I just didn't find it, so I forgot about it. But it is there, so it's I think it's in Itnamzand Deep, so you can go and find it yourself. That sounded rude. I didn't mean that to sound rude. This video was not very helpful, but I did show you what was at the end of the dungeon. Itnamzand is pretty simple, but it's also chaotic. Pretty much just pull levers and shoot Gemos in the face with a crossbow. I probably need to get my followers back. I'll put the noble sword away. Where's my thing? Anyway, that's the, oh hey, didn't need to bother at all. I summoned this follower. Hey, turn. Okay. That's this video. If it helped, great. If it didn't, sorry. But that's Itnamzand. It's a place. You better back away.